counted so far, the districts in. Let's go now and find out what is likely to happen in the future. Doug Edwards over at the UNIVAC desk.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you've already heard, UNIVAC predicted about 55 minutes ago that Eisenhower would win this election, and the odds in his favor at that time, 100 to 1. Now, we have, with a basis of 672,700 votes to go on in the UNIVAC extrapolation, as they call it. We'll explain UNIVAC a little more clearly and in more detail a little later on. This probable division of electoral votes needed to win, of course, 266. Eisenhower, the probable division, 374. Stevenson, 73. Still in doubt, 84. Now, UNIVAC also does some other figuring around. For one thing, it has come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 state predictions, all of which right now seem to be in the Eisenhower column according to the UNIVAC projection. Some of these states were figured to be either Democratic or marginal, by marginal or toss-up. The trend of these key states now in the Eisenhower column, as UNIVAC sees it: Oklahoma, which was figured to go Democratic; Maryland, which was marginal, could go either way; Florida was marginal, it could go either way according to UNIVAC, and now it's for Republicans. Kentucky is in the Eisenhower column in UNIVAC's projection. Minnesota, a marginal state, now Eisenhower. Tennessee, a Democratic state, in the Eisenhower column as UNIVAC sees it. Virginia, also a toss-up now for Ike. Massachusetts for Eisenhower, a marginal state, but UNIVAC sees it now in the Republican column. And also Pennsylvania, the very important one that everyone's watching tonight, was seen before the election to go in either direction. UNIVAC also estimates that the Eisenhower majority will be, in the popular votes, 5,034,648 votes. And that's what UNIVAC sees right now. We'll see you later. Back to Walter Cronkite.
And the returns, as you know, with some 4% of the votes in, 1,438,000 for Eisenhower, 1,092,000 for Stevenson. Eisenhower leading in 20 states with 222 electoral votes, Stevenson in 10 states with 112 electoral votes. Eric Severide, how does this look to you?
Well, Walter, I'll have to stick with what I said on another meeting about an hour and a half ago, and that is that by every test, the spot returns from indicator counties and cities, by the UNIVAC projections, by the percentage lead on an hourly basis compared with 4 years ago, by all these tests, it's another Eisenhower landslide, and possibly even a greater one. Again, I think, Walter, this is a national psychological phenomena that we're seeing, and when that happens, which happens every generation or so, the state lines don't mean very much. Neither does party organization or money or publicity. Another test is this, that search as you will in the spot returns from indicator places, you cannot find any sharp Stevenson gains over 52, and he would have to have a great many such gains in order to have a chance of winning. They're simply not there. He's already lost one of the 9 states that he had 4 years ago, the state of Kentucky. By my last figures, he may have a chance to win Tennessee, though, which he did lose 4 years ago. Pennsylvania returns are just coming in now. The real question now is not the White House, but the Congress. It does seem possible that Ike may pull in a Republican majority, at least a slim one, in the Senate. He's already pulled in Bush of Connecticut, who was supposed to be in trouble. It looks as though he's pulled in Cooper of Kentucky. Though early figures would indicate that the Republican Senator Dirksen of Illinois may be in some real trouble. The Senate, I should repeat, is not yet clear, and certainly, of course, the House is not. It could still happen that we could have a Republican president and a Democratic Congress, which would be the first time that had happened in a presidential election since this modern two-party system started 100 years ago. But if the history of landslides repeats itself, Republicans here, one would think, would get the Senate at least. As to the White House, this is not strange. Tradition is being kept. No party has taken the White House in this century and kept it less than 2 terms. History apparently there is repeating itself. Walter, we'll take it back now to you, I believe.
Right, Eric. We'll be hearing from you. That desk of yours.
We don't get drowned in these figures.
Well, this is the way it always is on these election nights, isn't it? We sit here sifting out the reports and trying to make some sense out of them, and as we do tonight, we have some new figures in on the popular vote, as you see there. 1,511,000 for Eisenhower now, 1,161,000 for Stevenson. The electoral vote, however, remains the same, with Eisenhower leading in 20 states, for 222 electoral votes. Stevenson leading in 10 with 112 electoral votes. In the recapitulation of the Senate races, we find that the Republicans are leading in 8 Senate races. They have won 1. That is in Connecticut, where Democrat Tom Dodd has conceded to the Republican incumbent Prescott Bush. So the Republicans are leading or have been elected in 9 of the 35 races up this year. The Democrats are leading or have been elected in 5, with a total of 11 Senate seats. The Democratic count is in 5 states where the incumbent senators were not challenged by Republicans in the South. Right now, let's watch Westinghouse and Betty Furness.
Pretty exciting, isn't it? And of course, this is one night you want to stay awake. But what about those nights when you don't? You sleep fitfully and then get up feeling like this. But look, here is the promise of peaceful, refreshing sleep in the wonderful warmth of Westinghouse automatic bed coverings. And you can actually enjoy this gentle automatic warmth for as little as $19.95. What a treat to go to sleep under a soft, fleecy blanket, knowing you'll be snug all night. Set this automatic Watchman control for the warmth that you prefer, and it automatically maintains that same warmth no matter how the room temperature varies. Now, these beautiful, durable blankets are a nylon blend in pastel pink, blue, or green, priced from $29.95. Now, here is a Westinghouse automatically controlled bed covering that's $19.95. It's the Westinghouse automatic sheet. Now, here's how you use it. First, there's the usual top sheet. Next, your Westinghouse automatic sheet. Then, to keep the warmth in, just add any lightweight cover. You can get all these Westinghouse automatic bed coverings to fit single or double-sized beds with single or dual control. They're all washable. Look for them in all their beauty on pages 108 and 109 of the November 3rd issue of the Saturday Evening Post. Ask to see them at your favorite dealers, and remember, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
The Boston Herald, an Eisenhower supporter, has predicted that Boston should go, or Massachusetts should be carried by the Republicans by 250,000 votes. And those are the latest figures on our electronic computing board here at CBS News Election Headquarters. Samuel Lubell, the political analyst, is here with me now. And Sam, I've been wondering if you have noted where these votes are coming from to put Eisenhower over the top, as he seems to be going.
Yes, Walter. You see, I've been pulling in the returns of individual precincts, and they show, I think, you're seeing a virtual political revolution. This is almost 1936 in reverse. The big city majorities that elected Roosevelt and kept re-electing all the Democrats have been smashed, and Eisenhower in the cities is now running 4 to 5% ahead of his 52 vote, and this is pretty consistent right across from here to Illinois. He is also cracking the Negro vote. I pulled together 4 Negro areas in New Haven, Tampa, Miami, and Chicago. In 1952, Eisenhower got 27% of the vote. This time he is getting 45% of the vote in these same areas. This looks like he may get 60% of the vote, which would be equivalent. Well, that's only happened 3 times before.
And, Sam, have you had anything at all to indicate what's happened to that famed farm vote yet?
Well, I've gotten one farm county in western Ohio. This is a county I sampled during the campaign. It did not show much of a shift towards Eisenhower then, and Eisenhower is running ahead of 52 there in the 4 precincts that I pulled out. The one election that seems to be close so far is Florida. In Tampa, Eisenhower got 52% of the vote, and that's all he got last time. And Miami is running close, and that, as of now, Florida seems to be the closest election that's come across my board so far.
Thanks a lot, Sam Lubell. We'll be back in our election headquarters in just a moment. That's the national election picture up to now. Turn on. That is the states that the Democrats had counted on, but in which Eisenhower has taken an early lead. 60% of the vote in Tennessee is in now, and Eisenhower is holding on to that lead, 153,000 to Stevenson's 144,000. T. Coleman Andrews, the states' rights candidate for president, who's on the ballot in 11 states, has 5,000 votes in Tennessee. Let's go again now to our UNIVAC corner and get from Doug Edwards the latest predictions of that electronic marvel.
Red hot off of our big electronic abacus, Walter, the very latest UNIVAC presidential prediction with 1,304,200 votes reported. UNIVAC predicts now with, again, odds of 100 to 1 that Eisenhower will be re-elected president. The probable division of electoral votes as it now stands, we have it up on the board over here. Eisenhower 395, Stevenson 68, still in doubt 68. Now the trend in the key states that were expected to be Democratic or could go either way, these states are in the Eisenhower column as UNIVAC sees it at the moment. Oklahoma, Maryland, Florida, Kentucky, Minnesota, Virginia, North Carolina, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania. Now the UNIVAC percentage division of the popular vote goes like this, on the basis of about the same number of votes, 1,304,200 roughly, reported. UNIVAC guessed the percentage of the total popular vote will be divided as follows in the finish. Eisenhower 55.8, Stevenson 44.1. UNIVAC estimates that the Eisenhower majority will be 7,314,488 votes. That is scaling it up about 2 million over UNIVAC's previous prediction of just a few minutes ago. You'll remember that back in 1952, UNIVAC at about this time was predicting an Eisenhower victory with the odds 100 to 1. Well, like an iceberg, only a small portion of UNIVAC is visible here in election headquarters. Let's visit the nerve center. Before we do that, you can see up on your screen exactly what's happened. Cretella has been elected in the Connecticut House in the 3rd District over his opponent. Well, let's visit the nerve center of UNIVAC. It's here at Remington Rand headquarters in downtown Manhattan. UNIVAC is about 18,000 times larger than the human brain. At the moment, that fact seems to be sort of a challenge to the human beings working here on the fringes of the machine itself. Here, a combination of political editors and tabulators are translating current election returns and trends as they're being established at this very moment into UNIVAC language. Equations, language the computer understands. The information is then fed to UNIVAC through these unitypists. The brain does not think creatively, but with the information it gets, it computes massively, doing in an instant computations equal to the combined mental efforts of 400 bookkeepers. Its memory is capable of retaining up to 15 million separate items of information. This is the memory bank of magnetic tapes on which a team of statisticians, mathematicians, and political analysts have imposed the national election results of 52 and 48, and even further back. Total and popular electoral votes for each candidate in each state for those years, all broken down to an hour-by-hour basis. UNIVAC adds, subtracts, divides, determines percentages, compares past and present, all at lightning speed. UNIVAC is put through its paces at the supervisory control board, through which there is direct communication between the machine and the outside world. And that, briefly, is the story of UNIVAC, our big electronic brain from Remington Rand, which will continue projecting the outcome of the 1956 elections, presidential and congressional. And now, back to Walter Cronkite.
Well, word from Washington is that the Republicans already are celebrating in their Sheraton Park Hotel headquarters, their victory celebration headquarters. Leonard Hall, the national chairman, has just appeared before the meeting there and has said that it looks as if President Eisenhower will get 60% of the vote, and loud cheers, of course, greeted that. Now let's pause for station identification.